This might be a silly question, yeah, but I've always wondered, like, you see racist people, yeah, can they be attracted to black people? Like, if they see someone, obviously of the opposite gender, let's assume that, and they're black, but they hate black people, can they still find them attractive while still hating them?
I went to school with this white racist guy who ended up dating a black girl, and it was one of the weirdest things ever because this dude, he would say like slurs, he would wear Confederate flag belt buckles, and hell, this guy, I was in class with him, we had history together during January 6th, and he defended January 6th. You get the idea of him. And now I just want you to imagine the shock that everybody had when they found out that he and this black girl started dating. They dated for like 2 years and they would like post each other all the time. Like they looked like they were in love. And my friends and I were so confused because we were like, dude, you are one of the most racist people we know. How are you dating a black girl? Also was like, why the would she ever date him, knowing damn well what this man's history is? The fact that everybody knew that he was just like not a good human being, but she was like, yeah, you know what? I can change him. Like that was just some cool activities from her. I mean, and my friends and I were more disappointed with her than the fact that he was being racist, if that makes sense.
White men love the thought of being with a black woman. They will go all day long, call them all types of names in comment sections, being jackasses, and then behind closed doors, be in love with the thought of being with a black woman. Racist white.
Yeah, thanks for the information. We know that. We're black women. We know. Like, it's insane. We work with them. We're around them. We know the lust.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren. And I'm Maureen. So in today's episode, you're going to be talking about racist men who have been known to be racist but yet still insist to date black women. And most black people in the black community do know why these racist men usually go after black women, right? But in today's episode, you're going to be listening to one of their own or some of their own as they explain why these racist men usually go after black women. We're also going to be listening to black women who are dating white men and then came to realize that the people they were dating were of course racist, right? From the horse's own mouth. Again, we're also going to be looking at another aspect where white fragility explodes at black excellence. Could this explain a lot of the behavioral issues white people have towards the black community? Guys, let's watch what we prepared for you and then we come back and talk about it. You can let us know your thoughts and opinion. Also consider subscribing if it's your first time here. Let's watch and then we come back.
This guy was a racist neo-Nazi for 20 years, but meeting this black woman completely changed his life. So Michael Kent had always been a violent white supremacist who only worked with white people and committed hate crimes against black people. But when he was arrested, he never expected meeting Tiffany Whittier to change his life. When she met Michael for the first time, she joked that he should replace his Nazi signs with positive smiley faces. Surprisingly, he listened to her, and Tiffany slowly started to feel like family to him. Their friendship made him less hateful to others who weren't white, but his biggest change was covering his racist tattoos to commemorate his new perspective on life.
What's with white guys being racist and then dating black girls? I've never understood that. Is it because they like want to control them or something? Or they like fetishize over them or something? Cause like they be saying the N-word and being super racist and then be dating a black girl. Like what that mean? I mean, I've had one of those boyfriends, guilty by association. That wasn't like when I was a wee baby though, so it don't count. But like, what's up with that?
I don't know why anybody's surprised by the fact that racist men date black women all the time. If you look at the January 6th white supremacist rioters, a lot of them were sitting next to their black wives in court. I've seen this with people that I know that they have found out their entire time that their white boyfriend were saying racist stuff about them. I myself have had experiences where I've realized that a white guy I was talking to had like secret racist fantasies and like was generally like borderline racist. The key to this is to ask him questions at the beginning, and if you see any signs, if you see just the smallest sign, run, because that man is racist. It's not about actually genuinely liking you, it's about having power over you. It's a power dynamic. We have seen this throughout history, and history only repeats itself. It wasn't until like 3 months into my situationship where this man started exposing who he really was, and he was racist as heck. So yeah, it's very, very common.
I just want to let this fact be known that was known to me as a younger man, and I refuse to believe it because I didn't have the intelligence level to process it, but I'm going to give it to you. The reason that a lot of white men are racist towards black men is because they feel inferior, and they would be right. I mean, we're talking about the same people that we enslaved in this country for hundreds and hundreds of years and then didn't give them any rights and made them fight tooth and nail for every right that they ever got. And they're still right here next to us doing the same shit that we're doing. And you feel that inferiority. Bro, it was literally common knowledge that was taught to us by adults, and we all knew this to be true, that the only reason that black men jumped higher than us or ran faster than us is because they had an extra muscle in their leg. Bro, we really came up with that just so that we can cope. You feel inferior because the people that we enslaved and oppressed for hundreds of years still made it eye level with us and more. And what did they make from all that? After hundreds of years of the most heinous violence of enslavement, they made beautiful music and beautiful culture and a beautiful community, and they made America as great as it is. And what did white people do in our white system at the end of that and still try to do? We try to take them all and cram them into the most poverty-stricken area, give them no resources, and then blame them for their bad living conditions. A black woman told me when I was a young man, and it pissed me off at the time because I was too dumb to understand, that white men have the highest rate of masculine fragility. We are so insecure, and the second that we feel shamed or embarrassed, we become very dangerous. Tell me the lie. Show me where the lie's at. Because make no mistake, people, I'm not talking just from something I heard from a video. I'm talking from experience. I am from the predominantly white town, the very small, very predominantly white town. I grew up listening to my grandfather, my friends, everybody saying the N-word. I said the N-word growing up. I didn't just have these ideologies with me from day one. These are things that I had to unlearn first from where I was from and relearn from people who knew better. Smarter people with bigger worlds to live in. And I had to go through a lot of embarrassing moments, like the one time that I told this black girl that you would easily be able to tell a white person and a black person apart, even if their skin color was the same, because of their facial features. And here I am all this time later with the entire internet saying that I look like an albino black man. Where's the lie? And I really like when you guys say that.
I'm in an interracial relationship, meaning my wife is black, my wife is Haitian, and I get asked all the time by my fellow white people, is racism really that bad? Is America still, like, do you guys even have to deal with racism? And my answer is, yeah. Yep, a lot more than you think. And I can tell you candidly, as someone with white skin, we do not realize how prevalent and how frequent racism occurs, specifically because it typically doesn't impact us in a way that really matters at all. But here's an example. The last company that I worked at for several years and became a manager there, I was told directly, face to face by another white-skinned manager, nah, dude, you shouldn't hire that woman. Why? Why shouldn't I hire her? Oh, she's going to be difficult. She's going to be challenging. It's going to be a handful. And she's a black woman, so why would you hire her? That's literally what he told me to my face. Now, obviously, I don't work for that company anymore for one reason or another, but I just want to let you know that as someone with white skin, I can tell you factually that no matter if you want racism to be over, just because that would be more convenient for you, racism is alive and well in America, and until people start standing up for one another and shaming those people and making them uncomfortable for sharing those bigoted racist thoughts, it's not going anywhere. So just because you feel like racism doesn't exist anymore in America, I promise you, black people and brown people in our country are dealing with it on a daily basis. So do not tell them just to get over it. Oh, just stop talking about it. Just stop focusing on it. That must be nice. Your privileges show.
If you are a white man dating black women in this country, your life is not in any danger. Let's not speak in hyperbole because you had one bad experience with a Hebrew Israelite who is inherently bigoted. It does not make it okay for you to make broad statements against black men, especially in this racial climate where anti-black is the running theme of the country. And if you're marshmallow soft and your first thought is I need to get a pistol to protect myself instead of I need to learn how to defend myself, maybe you shouldn't be dating at all, because there is an inherent risk whenever you step outside that somebody is going to test you. That could be black men, white men, Hispanic men, any plethora of men could potentially threaten you in this country. Let's not put it all on one demographic because that's who you had the bad experience with. Walking into this type of relationship dynamic as somebody who is fearful of the people that she is around the most is gonna be a hard issue for you to overcome if you can't overcome your underlying issues of racism. I just want you to understand that.
I've been keeping this to myself and a secret because I didn't want you to know, or I wouldn't know how you would take it. But okay. She's black, Dad.
What? You're dating a gorilla? The one with the tail? You know what happened.
He's not gonna let me back in the house.
How do you feel?
I didn't want to tell him. I didn't want it to come out like this.
But you know what? Your dad has problems. And for him to be like, he needs therapy. For him to be mad at a bunch of black people because of one situation, for him to say he doesn't like all black people is not right. And if you want to date a black girl, you can totally date a black girl. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-mm.
Well, you did get $10,000 for facing your fear. How do you feel?
I feel scared, nervous if I tried going back home. I feel like they wouldn't let me go back in. And
what do you think your mom's gonna say?
My mom thinks the way my dad thinks. She does whatever he does, and they won't see me the same.
Just for you dating a black girl?
Yeah.
I'm the daughter of a black woman who hated being black, but I am also the daughter of a racist white man. What a pairing, right? How does a racist white man marry a black woman? There are so many ways. I can really only tell you from what I've seen from my research on here, on TikTok and other like sources, and also from my own personal experience as to why he particularly, what I think, why he married my mother. So my mother, she was born to a black family. There's always been somewhat speculation around who her father is because my grandmother had multiple boyfriends at the same time. She had one long-standing boyfriend that she would kind of use to drop my mother off at when she wanted to go and be on the streets, basically. So what wound up happening is my grandmother gets hit by a car and she passes away. And then my mother is parentless because the person who is supposed to be or suspected to be or thought to be, even to this day, as her father was incarcerated at the time. I don't know why her family members didn't take her. They weren't equipped, and her boyfriend, who she wound up being raised by, well, she was 15 at the time, so she was a little older. But, you know, full custody of her. He took her. He really, really fought for her because that was the last piece of my grandmother that he was going to be able to have, because he was really trying to get my grandmother back with him for several years prior to her passing, and he felt this connection. So the only thing is his family, that man's family, really hated my mother because my mother is a black woman. They're extremely racist. And so when he took her into the home, they abused her heavily. They were abusing her when my grandma had dropped her off, but after my grandma passed away and she no longer was getting picked up, the abuse tripled, like 5 times. And horrible. So my mom has told me like maybe a quarter of it, and I wish that on nobody. But anyway, my father stumbles across my mom. So my mom originally wanted to date his friend. His friend was not really that interested, but said, hey, I had a friend who is interested in you, and that was my father. So my father, sees the situation, starts to try to woo her. He starts trying to woo her with things like, I'm going to provide for you a better life. I'm going to take you away from here. We're going to get money, all these promises of riches, because my father really wanted richness for himself, but my father also comes from a line of business owners. So his father's, well off. And I think at some point he thought he was going to get a part of that, but neither here nor there. So he makes all of these promises, and my mother takes a risk on it. She's like, okay, I'm going to go with this guy. He wasn't really the one I was interested in, but I'm going to go for him. So she goes for him, and they date for a while. They almost don't stay together. Before I was born, they almost broke up because he actually cheated on her with one of her cousins. Okay, and mind you, this is a cousin that had been participating in the abuse of my mother. So that's kind of weird. But also is the cousin is the daughter of the uncle and one of the nieces. I don't know. There was some weird stuff going on in that house. Anyway, so that happens. my mom's like in a position where she's abused. She's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I've invested so much. And next one, so she winds up staying with him. Either way, whatever happens, she winds up staying with him. He goes off and says, I'm so sorry. I'm going to go join the military and I'm going to make us better. This is how I'm going to do it. Because we weren't seeing anything from his dad, my grandfather. And, you know, her family was kind of a little bit MIA. My Auntie A was kind of always around. That's her sister. And a few of the cousins. But so he goes off to the basic training. She goes and visits him one Valentine's baby, and you know, she winds up getting pregnant, comes back, she pops positive, tells him, hey, because they were kind of on the fence, you know, I am pregnant. And I actually found her baby diary talking about me and all her concerns about, you know, being married to a white man or dating a white man and having a mixed baby. I can read that to y'all if you're interested, but you gotta let me know in the comments. And he's like, okay, well, shoot, now I gotta lock down, now I gotta lock in. And they wind up getting married. They like elope. And he gets orders to California. I wind up being born in California. And they have a little family there. And I obviously don't really remember that. I really kind of start remembering at our next PCS, which was in Colorado. And you know, my sister is born then, and we have this little bit of family, but that's when I start getting the memories. So, you know, the memories that my earliest memories are of their arguments and their fights. And the arguments and fights were always, I don't know what started them, but I know that the context of my memory is that they were very racially charged, because there was always a certain point of an argument where my dad would weaponize my mother's abuse and her race against her, and basically tell her, you know, she's from the slums, she's ghetto, she's poor, she's a black woman who would never, you know, be anything else without him, and just kind of anoint all of this to this like white savior hood of the life, and, you know, push her, shove her. And from a very young age, I remember trying to get in between that, and I remember hearing that. So granted, I look the way that I do now, but when I was a little girl, I looked very mixed race, very biracial. And I'll you know what? I'll put a picture. And so, you know, I was just hearing like all of these bad things, and I'm like, dang, okay, so I kind of look like that.
So guys, welcome back. You know, the interesting part about this video is we as foreigners, or we as outsiders looking in, we usually like to see these kinds of videos because it helps us understand the psychology of America, most especially the bottom line of racism, right? And in today's episode, as these people were talking, I couldn't help but notice, especially the clip where they were talking about the January 6th people who were arrested. And it was very interesting to me to find out that most of these racists who were arrested had black partners, right? And this is where you say there are people who normally talk about racism being coming out as a result of white people being jealous of the black community, and white people just wanting what the black community has, and but some of them realize actually they can't get what the black community has, because just like black people will never have that falling hair that is kind of furry. Okay, the white hair is the same way. White people will never have some attributes and features that black Americans have. Right. So guys, let us know what you think about this on the comment section, because I found it quite interesting when there was that one speaker who considered himself or said that he has been called a black albino before, right? But he's white. I also thought he was a black albino, right? But he's a white ginger guy. So the guy said that white fragility is as a result of white people feeling like, how can black people be kept in captivity for 400 years and then come out on top after that and be able to do the things that they're doing, even so excel at most of these things some of the times, and surpass the white community. That makes them wonder so much, and that makes them so bitter, you know. And that makes me think about situations like Nolan Wells, right? You look at the kind of the friend groups he was keeping, and these are the kind of of kids who are brought up to realize that white people are better than black people, and black people should not excel past them no matter what, So with that kind of mentality, are black people really safe around such people? And then also, I'm beginning to also understand the psychology of racists who go out there to date black women. I feel like it's kind of they want to conquer the world, and conquering the world to them means even conquering black women, if that makes sense.
Right, because in the white community, there is a saying that once you go... that saying is both in the black community and in the white community. Once you go black...
different meanings.
Right. Yeah. In the black community, once you go black, you never go back. That usually means that once a white woman dates a black man, they never, most of the time, go back to their white counterparts, And in the white community, we recently found out that this meaning has a different meaning in the white community,
with a negative connotation,
right? Because white men do not want to compete with black men when it comes to bedroom matters, And that being said, you can understand why these white men feel so inferior to black men. But my biggest question is, do some of these racists even realize that some of the hate they harbor towards the black community stems down from the fact that they have realized that the black community will always surpass them in certain aspects of life? Is that why they are racist, and have they realized that themselves?
Right. Anyway, guys, let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section, and as usual, we want to thank you so much for always tuning in. Remember to subscribe kindly if you've not done so. Yeah,
right. And before we close the episode, I also wanted us to talk about the guy who was racist with racist tattoos, but he found a black woman who made him change.
I don't buy that.
I don't buy that as well.
I feel like such people are good expert manipulators,
but at hiding their true intentions.
Narcissists, and they do know how to hide their true intentions, because you cannot tell me for 20 years you've been strong racist with strong views, and then all of a sudden you met a black woman, the people you are most prejudiced towards, you met a black woman who helped you change. I don't really buy that.
But then again, on the other hand, I do believe that people can change, because you see, even Ginger Hair, who is looking like albino, he also said he grew up with some pretty racist remarks towards black people, especially because he lived in a predominantly white place, and he says he met some people who made him see the other side of the racial connotation, and he started working towards unlearning what he had learned growing up. So to some extent, I do believe that people can change. It's just so hard or difficult to see who amongst the white people has truly changed, Right? So guys, let us know what you think about this episode down on the comment section. Also consider subscribing if you're new to our channel, and we'll see you on our next episode. Thank you so much for watching.